today. I got it here.
It?
It's like the rare occasions that it's like I have the energy. It's like, okay, I have to like spirit bomb. That's what this all is for me. It's a spirit bomb. I have to summon all the energy from all the life forms and throughout the world, and then I release it, and then I have to charge up for a fortnight.
That's probably one of the most boomer things that you've said, of using Fortnite in an actual manner.
Yes.
As opposed to the game.
I know. My concept of time is absolutely warped by the generation above me.
Yes.
Hello, friends, family, and everyone in between. Welcome back. We are back from our long hiatus. Thank you for being patient with us while we were gone. This is, if you didn't already know, the FillGood podcast, where we are talking to our heroes about what makes them feel good and the good that they're putting into the world. I'm your Phil co-host, Byron Filler. With me, as always, is the man of the
co-host.
Hour. Yes.
I'm the man of the hour? Oh my God.
You're the man of the hour.
I'm the good co-host, Mike Osgood. And today we have a freaking fantastic guest.
We do have a freaking fantastic guest.
So excited for everyone to learn more about her. Her name is Brandy Gueary. And holy crap-oly, she's an influencer, she's an entrepreneur, she's a teacher, she's done so many crazy, great, amazing things, and she's not stopping. And oh yeah, she's also a mom. Like, props to her for doing everything.
Just killing it.
Doing all the things.
Exactly. Before we get into that, it has been a while since we had, like, you've all heard from us. There's been a lot that's happened in our lives, so I figured let's keep it concise. Let's narrow it down to, Mike, here's what I think we should do. I would love to ask you, what is something that happened this summer that you are proud of, and what is something that you learned about yourself this summer?
What am I proud
only
of?
the deep questions here.
Only the deep questions. I'm going to give you the deepest answer.
Thank you.
I'll start with what I learned about myself. And the fact is that I am capable. I am capable of doing big things, or things that I didn't think that I could possibly do in the past. That being said, I built a paver patio in my backyard.
Hell yeah.
And oh my freaking God. Was that a lot of work?
Yeah.
Like digging up and moving a whole bunch of lava rock that was back there, getting that out, sending it into the ether. Actually, no, I gave it to a neighbor. It was great. But did that, scraped the ground, pound the ground, did all the things, stayed up until like the wee hours of the late night to get it done, because once you start, you can't stop, which is a thing, or else all the hours that you spent leveling sand and boards and all these different things gets completely wiped out. So I put on some muscle because of it, lifting these big ass pavers, placing them down, taking these 50-pound bags of rock and spreading it all around, and stamping.
It's not stomping, it's stamping.
I was stomping, but I was also stamping with the thing and like pushing it all down and compressing the living hell out of everything. Dude, it was the biggest source of anger and anger management I've ever had that negated each other.
It sounds cathartic. It was. Yeah.
It was the epitome of catharsism.
Yes.
But yeah, I did that, and it looks like a professional did it. That's what I've been told by many, many people. And I feel good about it. That was my win. And I am capable of doing some HGTV shit. So that's what I did this summer, and what I am most proud about, and what I learned. But Byron, what did you do this summer, and what did you learn about yourself?
Oh man, so I'll start with what I did this summer, because this was more of a like personal, I guess, like growth kind of thing. With these kind of have to do with each other. So with my work, I received a promotion, which is like, yeah, but it was like the first time that something like that has particularly happened. Like when you're working in a lot of creative roles, you don't often end up in places where you're brought on and there's a hierarchy. As kind of you're just doing gig work and it's feast or famine. And but this has been the first time where it's like, oh, steady work. And it's also the first time where it's like, I'm not dealing with gatekeepers. I'm not dealing with like all these kinds of people who are like very much want a reason to decide that you are not valuable. I'm working with some, like, admittedly, like, it's been good people. And I think for me, what I've been learning about myself is because I'm getting a little bit more leadership responsibility, it's like learning that, oh, I can actually take on leadership. I can actually do this. Like, I actually have been in this place where I can make decisive choices, live by them, own them, and like feel good about them. And it's not this thing where I didn't realize.
Guys, he said the name of the podcast.
Yes. It was this discovery of you don't realize how prepared you are until you're in it, and I feel like I've been saying this for years, is like, you've made it when you're like going around, you're doing your thing, you're being your boss self, and you look around and you're like, oh shit, I'm here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But also super proud of you. Super proud of you for doing that. And that it happened.
It's also just a wild, it also like all kind of coincides with like the first full year of Marissa and I like being like living in Portland, and it's just so ironic that it took leaving LA for me to like be receiving opportunity. It's wild. If you ever my biggest advice to anyone who's listening, if you need to change your perspective, get yourself out of the place that you are. There's nothing that will change the way you think by being in just a completely different place, even if it's just like you need to take a vacation.
Yeah, I mean, having that ability to do that kind of mental reset, whether it's a short getaway, if you are fortunate enough to do that, or
absolutely
to go visit family somewhere, or in, I guess, both of our cases, getting up and moving out of Dodge and starting new.
Yes.
It's the mirror that you are then given it's a blank slate, and you are finally kind of seeing who you are and all the fun, crazy things that you can do. And,
absolutely.
Like, I'm super proud of you and Marissa, and
thank you.
Like, I'm just gonna give you a round of applause.
Dude, I'm proud of you and Alexia. Like, your project that you did for the backyard was like, you two bought a house. You were in this place where you can, and having the privilege to be able to like take ownership of something that is yours, which is a really hard thing to come by. A really big thing. It's not something that can be diminished either.
Oh no, I'm definitely not diminishing it. Believe me, it's taken over my entire life. But no, like, we're here, we're still standing, and we're still trying to find people to tell us about the things that make them feel good. So Byron, do you want to do a little bit more intro of Brandy?
Brandy Gueary is I mean, where do I even begin? She's amazing. And you said a bunch of it yourself. She is a model. She's an influencer. She is, we were talking to her about New York Fashion Week and like what it really means to be, like, she's running her own business. It's not just, it's like being an influencer. It's that you are running your own brand and selling yourself and, being a part of the marketing process. So we got a lot more insights about those little nuances from her and how she kind of balances all of that. I think she has like a lot of really great things that she says. I think we should just let her speak for herself. What do you think, Mike?
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Let's just have Brandy tell us about the awesome, amazing woman that she is. So, shall we take it away?
Let's do this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the best damn interview that you're ever going to hear. Today, we are with the magical, the mystical, the fantastically beautiful, the model, the influencer, the contributor to Southern Living Magazine, influencing color, Instagram, mother, teacher, sister, fantastic person, Brandy Gueary. Hello, Brandy!
Wow, what an intro. That's the best intro I've ever had.
You want to know what? It's only the best intro for the best people that we know.
Exactly.
So, Brandy, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Busy. Life is just busy. And I don't think life's going to get less busy. But I'm doing good.
I can only imagine it getting less busy because based off what I've seen on your Instagram and everything recently, you've been everywhere. Can you give us a little insight into just where your travels have taken you over the past month alone?
Yeah, we were, I was with Influencing in Color and we were in New York for Fashion Week. It's a special place for us because that's where we decided to like make that group. We were like in a tiny hotel room in New York and we decided like, let's just do this. Let's make it a group. Let's all do this together. And so being there just really feels like, going home for us as a group.
It came full circle, yeah.
Fashion show, presentations and you like spend most of your time in New York like walking around, figuring out where you're going and also like eating out.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome and amazing and I'm jealous.
I love that.
Yeah. But before we get into a little bit more about the magic that is Brandy, we need to get into a very serious conversation. Before we start talking about the good, you must address the bad. And we need to go into our moment of bad. This is where we each take about maybe 60 seconds, give or take, whatever your heart needs, to release something that has been bothering you this week, whether it's allergies or traffic or both. Whatever it may be, take it out into the world and make it be gone. So this is the moment of bad. I'll go first because
go for it.
I just got back from vacation and I went out to this beautiful cabin in the woods and it was nice. It was beautiful. It was quiet. It was serene. The one thing that bothered me during this whole thing, which is my arch nemesis, dust. I want dust to be gone because a variety of reasons. Number one, this nose, sensitive as hell. Number two, this nose again. I still haven't taken my allergy pills this morning and it's starting to go off anyway because I haven't dusted this place because I haven't been here for a week. So I just want to package dust up, put it into a little cannon. I want to stuff it. I want to light the fuse. I want to launch it into the atmosphere and I want it to be gone because I want to breathe.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you.
So sorry.
Byron, would you like to go?
Sure. So my moment of bad. So I wanted to make a recommendation rather than have because I couldn't quite think of something that was bad as much as I was thinking of something that really moved me this week. And maybe this is bad to some people. I'm going to make a recommendation for y'all to watch a Ken Burns documentary.
Wow. Okay.
So
that's not at all what I was expecting. Please continue.
So the U.S. and the Holocaust. This was aired on PBS recently, and it's long. This is not something that is going to be easy to get through in terms of time and subject matter, but it's about the relationship of the U.S. to the Holocaust and how we reacted as a country before, during, and after. And it is just one of those things where you're watching this and you can just draw the parallels of the way that we responded to everything that is happening right now. And it is haunting. It's haunting. I'm gonna go with haunting. So I'm not gonna say anything more than that. But if I do have to make something begone, Charles Lindbergh, go fuck yourself.
Wow.
Charles Lindbergh, fuck you in particular.
Hey, you want to know?
I know he's...
You want to know what else can be gone?
What?
Nazis. Always Nazis.
Nazis.
Nazis could definitely be
Begone
gone.
Nazis.
There you go. That could also work.
I like this like hand motion. I think it just makes things go away.
It's like a tornado that just kind of sucks up the bad energy and just sends it into the atmosphere.
I'm missing my wand though. I'm missing a begone.
Wingardium Begoniosa. Yeah.
I have this you know.
And it makes noise too. Yes.
I got a fidget toy here. Maybe this will work too.
My daughters.
Brandy, what's been bothering you this week?
It's like an occupational hazard type situation. It's October and I am honestly, and it's part of my job, but I hate that we're gonna be like talking about Christmas so soon.
Truth.
Like
Preach.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Walmart, you go to Target, you go to any store, there's going to be Christmas lights and trees and decorations, and I hate that shit. It's too soon. Don't get me wrong, I love Christmas time, but I don't like the way like some people do it.
Yeah.
Like my favorite radio station in Houston, which is 99.1, they play like the oldies, you get the 80s, the 90s, and today they start playing Christmas music super early, like the day after Thanksgiving, and it's 24 hours, like, and it's nonstop. They play Christmas music all the way until Christmas is over. That's it. You don't get, old school Prince. You don't get any of the only Christmas music. And it's like that idea combined with all the Christmas stuff already being in stores, combined with all of my brand partners are going to start to want me to start talking about holiday stuff. Just the thought of it.
You haven't even gotten past Halloween.
Yeah.
Wrap that shit up and take it somewhere like that. I'm just like, no, it's still hot in Houston. It's still sunny. We're trying to get enjoy cooler temps, like a little fall weather maybe. And everybody's going to go like straight to Christmas time. And it's too much.
It is too much.
It's too much. It's ridiculous.
Take that festivity of your reds and greens, put that into a little like elf-sized cannon, stuff it in, light the fuse of Mariah Carey, put it into the atmosphere, and be gone with your early Christmas celebrations.
For just 2 months, just let us let us get through Halloween. Let us have our pumpkin spice lattes. Just and enjoy it for a little bit.
I love a pumpkin spice latte.
I mean, I don't mind so much. The like pop-up Halloween stores, they pop up like right around now. It's like they haven't even popped up yet.
Wait, what?
Really?
Yeah, it's like they just now put the Halloween sign up on the store.
That's so strange because I feel like everything just started a little bit earlier this year because I thought that I felt like Halloween, people started prepping for Halloween end of July.
Always.
Like people were just starting let's get spooky scary right now. And you're like, it's still hot. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm on my summer vacation and y'all are talking about Halloween stuff.
No.
Yeah. Stop.
Let me get out of bikini season and then we can start talking about maybe what kind of onesie I want to wear for Halloween this year. We'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
Brandy, thank you for partaking in our moment of bad. But now let's make it full cathartic-y. I don't know how to transition that. Let's just go. So we're here with the wonderful catharsism. That's the word. We're here with the wonderful Brandy Gueary. And Brandy, like all good superheroes, they have an origin story. I want to know, what was the journey that made you become the woman, the hero that you are today?
You just called me a hero.
I sure
Wow. I accept that.
Good.
I love that.
Good. You deserve it. Because I've told you this offline a bajillion times. You're awesome. You have such a cool journey that's made you become who you are today. And I think the world should know about it. So let's tell them. Let's show them the journey.
Long story short, I was an elementary school teacher. And before I was, started teaching, I actually have a business degree. And so I got my first job out of college. Hated it. It was just like paperwork, cubicle. I was the young person, the new person at an oil and gas company. And you know how that goes. And so it's like, good old boys club, and a lot of stuff was on paper, and they wanted me to take all of their old files and take it digital.
Ooh,
Nope.
fun.
Nope.
So I spent a lot of time alone in the file room with papers in my cubicle, and it's like, the blue cubicle
Hmm.
walls. That was not fun. And so I was like, I don't like this. And one of my really great friends at the time, his name is Travis. He's passed on, bless his soul. His wife was an elementary school teacher. And he came to me kind of bluntly and goes, so how many, you don't like this, but how many days off, do you want per year? Like, how much travel do you want to do? And I was like, what does that have to do with
Everything.
anything? And he goes, well, my wife's a teacher. And like, if you're interested in teaching, you can get holidays off. You can get, whenever the kids are out of school, you're out of school. And I was like, wow, I never even, number one, considered teaching as a career avenue for myself. And then I was like, oh, wow, you are right. And it was just kind of like split minute decision. I decided to go to an alternative certification program. I got my license to teach in Texas, which I think is kind of like the way to go. Like, if you might want to teach, like, go get a degree in something else and then get your alternative certification. It was easier. I was still a great teacher. I still am as certified as every single person who majored in education.
Hmm.
Nothing different. In fact, I'm a better teacher than a lot of those guys.
Tell
Hell
him, Brandy.
yeah.
Tell him.
But it was just like I made this big shift and I taught for 10 years, but like in that time I started my blog when we bought our first house, which was this tiny, like 900 square feet,
Mhm.
kind of fixer
Mhm.
upper in this historic neighborhood, in the suburbs of Houston. And I started like kind of chronicling what I was doing at the house because I would share with people, but it was like, let me just put all this in a central location where everybody can like get to it whenever they want to. So I did that. And then, of course, quickly realized like when you're done with projects in the house, you don't have anything else to talk about unless you really want to talk about home and decor and all that kind of stuff. You have to like live that. And that wasn't like my experience. I wasn't really living that. So it kind of transformed into like this style beauty kind of hub where I started to talk about more of that on my blog. And with that came like, Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And this was way back in the day when Instagram was like normal and you could,
When it was
you know,
pictures.
when you could
Yeah.
just see a
Yeah.
picture.
Remember seeing friends on your feed?
No, I just see
Yeah.
ads all day, which is wild and crazy.
So, it was back then. And so I was able to like, really network with the creatives in Houston and go to, local things and get to know people in the creative community. And that really kind of just helped me grow my Instagram, grow my blog, followers and all that kind of stuff. I did all of that while I was teaching at the same time. And then just recently, I went full time as a full time like blogger influencer right after my daughter was born.
Hell yeah.
And while I like love teaching and I was teaching at an amazing school where my son still goes and actually my daughter's there too because they have a preschool side. Um, it got to a point where I just could not do both because being a blogger and, a influencer required travel, so
Hmm.
much more travel, where a brand was like, we want to fly you out on a Monday. And I'm like, I'm in the classroom all day on a Monday, like, and so I'd have to go to my director and say, like, hey, this is a really kind of once in a lifetime opportunity. Is there any way I can have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off? That kind of stuff. Or it'd be really like super tight for time. I'd like go teach half a day because that's less time somebody's got to cover my class. And then I'd fly out and go do that and like come right back as soon as the shoot was over. Like, so I'm on the red eye going back home and then I have to get home, sleep for like 2 hours and then go teach the next day. It just got really crazy. And it kind of was like, okay, you need to make a decision. And so made that choice. But then, of course, COVID hit and
What a
COVID was like,
time.
nobody's in
What a time.
Oh,
everybody's out the classroom. Everybody stay
Yeah.
home. And so I was pregnant with my daughter. She's 2 now. And, we never went, we were on our baby moon. in March, and we never went back to school after that. And so, you know, that was like the end. That was not the end that I wanted, but that's how I like never stepped foot back into the classroom. And I helped out the school with some, Zoom lessons and stuff like that, after I left full time because I just, I really love the school, really love the kids, and whatever they needed me to do that wasn't full time, I was able to do. I just couldn't be there every day all the time. And so, like, here we are,
Yeah.
where this is my full time focus, and I can focus on that, focus on family, and I'm a lot less stressed. And my relationship with my kids are better. My relationship with my husband's better because I'm actually able to be present and I'm not like
Yeah.
just doing all the things. I can enjoy, the time that I can enjoy my work life and I can enjoy my family life and,
Yeah.
just enjoy everything.
That's amazing. I mean, obviously, you're still able to incorporate, like, at least just from like the posts that we've seen for your own personal feed, as well as influencing color. Like, you're still able to incorporate education into your content.
Mhm.
So, I guess what was, as you were transitioning from like education in the classroom to education on your platform, what was the thing that you were seeing that was making it easier for you to be able to say, well, I'm actually able to do
Mhm.
more for a wider audience than I'm able to do for maybe like these kids in the classroom?
It really kind of goes back to like, and this is such a overused word now, self-love and self-care. I was talking about that before everybody called it that,
Hmm.
Yeah.
which, not saying it wasn't a thing. It was still a thing then, but it just wasn't, how,
Well,
Yeah.
like less people knew about
Yeah.
that.
yeah, less people actually use those words and like labeled it as that. And it was really, putting out this imagery of, a woman with a deep skin tone, with a natural hair
Hmm.
texture, who loves herself. Because, sometimes in our communities, the workplace that we work at, our schools, our society really makes us feel like we have to be and look a certain way to be acceptable. And it's really like, girl, you can really just be you and still live the same life and be happier because you don't have to go through. Yeah, I mean, my hair happens to be straight right now, but for the most part, it's not always. And it's
Yeah.
like you don't have to have your hair straight to be professional in the workplace. You don't have to be ashamed that you have a deep skin tone. And it was just me really being out there and just embracing myself was the education for people who weren't there yet,
Yeah. And
Right.
you know?
yeah, and as you're going through this and you're finding and you're basically giving these lessons of self-love and self-acceptance of you matter and that embracing your inner beauty regardless of how you look, what your hair type is and everything there. How have you seen your impact with your fans and with the community in general?
Well, just first of all, having an opportunity to build community is one of those things that is priceless. Like
Mm.
it's the most amazing thing in the
Yeah.
world to be able to build community around like this common base. But it's the personal messages, like, like I said, Instagram used to be different. So you could really see like, what images people were really drawn to. Now, if you post a picture, like five people will see it and five people will like it.
Yeah.
You can't really
But make
tell
sure you put
how.
$20 to it and then like all your network can see it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back then you could really see, 1,000 people like this picture enough to hit that heart button or who stopped to comment. And it's, you could kind of measure impact with that back then, but now it's switched to something that's a little bit more personal. It's the personal responses and personal messages that I get of people who say, I never even thought about, having natural hair. I never even thought about doing this or wearing this color because I wear like tons of vibrant, bright colors. And, growing up, someone told me, dark skinned women couldn't wear this color or shouldn't wear bright colors because it just draws more attention to your dark skin. And because of you, you changed my mind about that. It's that
Hmm.
that is
Mm.
like, wow, the education or the just throwing something out there because you literally don't know what you don't know until you're introduced to it in some type of way. There's a visual that you see, or somebody that's around you or close to you, or even a stranger will put something on your radar. Just being able to put things on people's radar and having them respond to it is just so cool.
It changes your entire perspective, because that was actually during the pandemic. I felt that way, just discovering more about, like, for myself and being autistic, like learning more about the autism community, and like, oh, one, I feel less alone. Two, I feel like there's things that I had never known before, or maybe it's just updated information. Like, you don't
Yeah.
know these things until you're sitting there, and it's kind of that revelation. Are you ever a part of the conversation with your followers about, like, well, how do you unpack that? Now that I know this, like, what do I do with this?
Yeah. I'm not a licensed anything. I'm a licensed teacher in
No, for
Texas, but
sure.
like not a
Yeah, yeah.
but sometimes it's deep like that, and you have to seek therapy. You have to reach out to someone who can help you process. And then you also have to talk to, you have to reach out to community, because you're right. When you feel less alone, you are more likely to dive deeper, to be in communication, to share common experiences with people. And sometimes that's enough to just make you, drop your shoulders a little bit and
Hmm.
just, breathe into just existing, and that your existence as you are is just perfect.
Absolutely. And one, I got to give you a quick compliment, because you and your family have semi been kind of inspiring me to get into my fashion game a little bit more. Hey,
Hey,
just saying, like today, I got my best outfit on. I got to show it to you. Are
Yeah.
you ready for this? Are you ready?
what's going on the pants?
Yeah, no, this is
Work it, Mike.
basketball shorts makes it. No,
Yes.
the socks make it. Who
You want to know
Yeah.
what?
who
You gotta zoom it up as much as you can.
who are the socks today? What are we going with?
Today, here at Only Feets, here you go. We got some Star Wars socks today.
Ooh.
Rocking that with my fancy checkered kind of tuxedo jacket, my skinny black tie,
Yeah.
and I'm just coming out here looking fit. But no, but seriously, you and your family, like I, ever since we became friends and I've been seeing you on everything, I was like, you wonder what? I think I can kind of step up my game a little bit. I've been trying to embrace the lighter tones and doing a little bit of things like that, because I'm like, you want to know what? If they can do it, I can do it too. And you wonder what? I say that
Absolutely.
as like the straight white man over here. That's like, usually rocking black tones or just like dark gray or whatever it
You
may be.
need more color. And Brandy, can you tell him to add some more color into his wardrobe? Because I swear, like, add color to your
I'm
wardrobe.
trying.
Yeah,
Trying.
absolutely. Like Byron's got this nice plaid top on, and it's playing off the color of his hair, his eye color, his beard color, and it's just making him like vibrant and like alive. So, I mean, color makes you
Full responsibility goes to my wife, by the way.
good job.
Go, Marissa.
Full, well, no, I am giving her full credit, because I honestly didn't know a lot of these things, and it's like, it's color theory. It's all of these that, like, what to match with. And you also kind of notice a lot of garments kind of naturally come with that anyway, so you can get a lot of cues from what you're already wearing, like, oh, this is what will match with this. You don't really have to think about it that hard. But yeah, like, even if you're still going with, like, the black shirts, or like even the black tie, it's like maybe just like a little like color in your pocket square, and that's it.
I'm trying. I'm trying to figure out
Sure.
what Brandy. This is pop quiz real quick. What color? What color should I go? Do you think that I should try? And you want to know what? I'm gonna make it a goal that by the time this episode comes out, I'll have a piece that's that color and I'll rock it.
I say for you, definitely blue.
Blue. Okay.
Blue is even like in its darker state, like a navy. because you've got brown eyes, you've got brown hair, brown and blue just looks so good together.
Brown and blue. All right. All right.
Like it doesn't have to be like a bright royal blue, but like something a little bit muted, maybe a few shades lighter than like a navy would look amazing.
Okay. Okay.
More blue.
I'll try. I'll try blue. I will try blue. I will expand to that. You want to know what? If I happen to find something even crazier, I will try it.
You can add it to your Chewbacca chic today. That's the
yeah. It'll be a good time. But Brandy, as we've kind of chatted with the building of community, with the building of this influence and everything there, you've started to also not only make your own community, but you've also found that community. Like we were talking about earlier with Influence in Color and Fashion Week and everything. How has it been finding that bigger community of kind of like-minded individuals who are trying to push the same kind of message too?
It's pretty incredible. And you know how when you have, I imagine that you and Byron have this workplace banter about podcasting and different things you have in common. It's really nice to talk about work with someone who knows your work fully. It's like I could talk to my husband about, a brand did this today, or like I'm having trouble creatively getting this together or whatever. And he hears me, but he doesn't fully deeply understand what I mean by it because it's not his job. So having so many people I can reach out to and say like, hey, I'm working with this brand. Have you ever worked with them? Or how do you, when a brand says this, what do you usually do? Because I do all of my own everything, my own negotiations, my own accounting work. I'm putting my business degree to work. I'm reading my own contracts and, I'm my own legal team and that kind of stuff. So to have people who are close to you, who you can really go to get your questions answered, and they are answering a question from a shared experience, that's amazing, number one. But also feeling like you're also in community with people who also want to share a message of just as you are right now, period. Nothing else needs to happen to you. You don't have to lose weight. You don't have to change this. You don't have to change that. It's actually not about about what you're wearing, although I'm talking about, fashion a lot.
But it's
right
about
now.
communicating it as expression rather than it's important that you look this way.
Yeah.
No, it's important that you have some kind of application for you to be able to say, this is who I am.
And because it's kind of, wrapped in style and fashion and color, it's really about, these are the things that I feel really great in. These are the colors that I wear and they make me feel happy. And whatever that is for you, go do that. It might be what I'm wearing and it might not be. It might be something similar and it might not be. But I hope that it's just inspiration for them to go do that thing, whatever it is.
Here's a quick break.
Okay, so...
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Byron's got a message for you?
I've got a message for you. I have these commercial messages for you.
Because if you didn't know, we're accepting advertisers and sponsorships and everything like that. We're here for you and your brand, and we want to pitch it. And we're creative writers. We do random things, and one of those things happens to be something that Byron has written.
Yeah,
and we want to pitch it to you.
We want to give little samplings of what we can do here. If you like it, you can sponsor our show. So Mike,
you can.
So here's how I'm gonna start it off.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay, Mike. So we're talking a little bit. We're complaining a little bit about the holiday season in this episode, right? Because stores started prepping Halloween and Christmas all way too early, right? And we're all a little burned out before we even get to the fall, right? But there's something that I think that is going to help all of us re-energize your holiday cheer, and it's everyone's favorite basic tradition. It's called pumpkin spice lattes.
Wow.
Yeah.
If there was ever a product that did not need an advertisement, it's this, but please tell me more.
We're going to take the average coffee and spice it up a little bit, pumpkin. Okay.
Yeah.
So pumpkin... So pumpkin spice lattes are here. They love you, and they're sorry about the seasonal conditionalism of their existence.
They better be.
They're gonna have the energy to get you through the workplace crunch that everybody think like needs to happen towards the end of the year, and give you the courage to tell your parents that you're actually gonna be at Friendsgiving this year rather than at being at home for Thanksgiving. So get your latte for a limited time before your local barista runs out of pumpkin spice and starts believing that cinnamon is an acceptable replacement. Use code FillGood at your local coffee shop to get yourself that extra shot of enthusiasm and a weird look from your barista today.
Because they're absolutely going to know that the Feel Good podcast sent you to go get your pumpkin spice goodness. Oh, that beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's poetry. But please feel free to hit us up at the feelgoodpodcast at gmail.com. If you are interested in promoting your business, your service, whatever it may be, we're here for you. We love you. And back to the show.
Back to the show. So you and Influencing Color, your group of gals, y'all went to Fashion Week together. And that what, like you were talking earlier about like that being full circle, like how much more meaningful is that for you to be able to, like, one, you're walking the runway, and two, you're doing it with a group of people, like you're in it together. Like what was that like doing that this year?
It's fun, it's exhilarating. Like it's every year is just the best time. And what we were so pleasantly surprised to notice this year, the whole reason why we started Influencing in Color was a lack of representation in fashion amongst, fashion influencers at all the events and stuff. We would get there and be the only people of color in the room. And not because we're not out there, not because it doesn't exist. There are so many people of color killing it,
Mm-hmm.
like to the moon, doing all kinds of things creatively. And where are they at the fashion events? Where are they, creatively in your marketing and that kind of stuff? So being there and seeing so many more people of color and seeing representation, a broad representation of so many people was so good. And it just made us feel like we did something, or like
Yeah.
mission accomplished. There's still a lot to do in that industry, of course, like so much more to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Just to be, and of course, we never want to make it seem like we're the only people in that movement, but it felt like change is happening.
Yeah.
And we like to think that it's partly because of what we started to do and started to represent. But just seeing all the changes that have happened between when we first went and now, which was, we started in 2018. So for that short amount of time to see the drastic change in what we visually saw, who was there at the different events,
That's a
was just
lot of growth.
Yeah.
a lot of for a short time span.
So over the past 4 years, you and Influencing in Color have been able to help build a greater representation with New York Fashion Week. And, 4 years is a short amount of time in some ways and shapes of the changes that you've been able to make. But what do you still see? What are some of the bigger changes that still need to happen at this big prestigious event to make it feel more welcoming?
Yeah, just within the event and within like the fashion industry as a whole, there's still some like tokenism there where,
Mm.
there are people of color, but there's like, okay, let me invite exactly two black women, exactly two Asian women, exactly. And it feels a little prescribed unless these are the people who are killing it in this industry, or these are the people who really love my brand and, they support this brand, they've posted for us without being paid, just organic because they really love it. Let's bring those people versus whoever's just has a million followers, or I feel like there's still a lot of work that can be done even within the brands to build true community and have fashion week be feel more like a community event for the brand. A good example is like Cynthia Rowley. We went to her show and it was super diverse, super beautiful. The models were diverse. It was just it was through every layer, and it wasn't just, oh, let's invite all these people of color to the fashion show. It's in the marketing, it's in her model choices. It was layered, and that's really like a true sign that the brand itself feels that this is important. And so they do more than, what it would like typically look like if they were just like doing it just to say they did it.
It really shows when it's especially within the past few years in all of these companies, and especially fashion companies, who are saying like, oh, we're going to be allies now, and here's how we're going to show that we are going to be allies. I can imagine it's like showing up to an event like this, and it's like, oh, I know who's really truly being an ally, and I know who's really just kind of just saving
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Like it's
Who's wearing a
yeah,
mask and who is actually embodying this
yeah.
diversity.
That
Yeah. Was
Hmm.
there
that
was there any surprise at this fashion week that you went to that you felt great about?
I actually got to go to a Laquan Smith runway show.
Okay.
It was the first show where I like had a seat and could
Ooh.
like, like it was like big deal.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't in
Yeah.
standing only. Um, and he's like huge. Like he dresses Beyonce.
Oh, damn.
That's all you need to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
shit.
okay.
He puts clothes on her. And so he's like this big, figure. And to see this amazing like black designer, to see his work up close, to just be in the house, like to be at the show and get that full experience. I mean, everything was like that was like I was surprised. Like I'm still like in awe like that happened. Like that I was
Hmm.
able to be a part of that. Like and it was, it was a surprise because we didn't know if we're going to be able to go or not. And then kind of like, our contact was like, hey, I got y'all some seats. And we were like, what? To that show? Like,
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so good. So that was such a pleasant surprise.
Nice.
Another full circle moment, like where, we noticed that, we're looking at other people's Instagram accounts and we're like, that's a whole event happening and why aren't we there? And there's another event happening. Why aren't we there? And there's no other black people there either. To go from that to being able to sit in a seat at a black designer's runway show during New York Fashion Week just felt so big. It was
Yeah.
like just wow. It just felt so good.
I love it.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
One of the things I was interested to learn from you, especially just like being so involved, experiencing all of this, and getting swept up by the all of these changes that you're seeing. One of the things that my wife Marissa and I talked about pretty extensively, because she was watching Fashion Week through like TikTok and seeing what was going on, and we were talking about this idea in a lot of the comments of posts that are about like basically the quote unquote like infiltration of influencers into these events, into Fashion Week. And one of the things that we kind of ended up talking about was like, well, wait, like, isn't that the whole point of Fashion Week? It is about these brands kind of coming together and connecting and kind of figuring out the influencer marketing that they can actually do after these events. So I guess the question I have for you about all of this is like, were you feeling that like, not just as a model, but like as the influencer, and actually like that, understanding that is your business and that is what you do, was there a sense of like that you were unwelcomed as an influencer at any capacity, or like that there was things that just felt kind of off in that realm just simply because of the way people are talking about influencers and what that actually means now in context of social media?
Ooh, that's layered. Okay, so
Mhm.
first, yeah, like you hit me like boom, 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 boom.
Sorry,
Byron's
I
coming.
know it's a lot.
Byron's coming in with like the multi-tiered cake of questions.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hand you a trifle.
Yes.
That
got 5 cakes on it. Okay. So No, I didn't. I didn't have experiences where I felt unwelcome, but it kind of just makes me think about like the general shift of industries that kind of happens over time.
Okay.
And, even with like models being on the runway, models used to only be models, or even on magazines. There were models, there were
Yes.
supermodels on magazines. And then that morphed into celebrities. Like every cover used to have a model on it, a woman or a man who was just a model. And now then it went to like celebrities are on, you're going to see Halle Berry, you're going to see Julia Roberts. They're going to be on women's, health and stuff like that, where it used to be like, a woman who was a model who maybe was fit, or a woman who was a fitness trainer or something like that. And so that was that shift. And then now you've got influencers who are also models, who are also, fashion designers, who are also, it's like, I think it's just industry shift. And I didn't get any bad vibes, about it, because people, brands, businesses, they really truly recognize the brilliance of influencer marketing. And it's
Yes.
true that even though I feel like I've been in it forever, it's still changing, it's still evolving, it's still growing, that there's going to be more shifts even in fashion, and more shifts even in the influencer marketing industry as well. So I feel like it's just kind of one of those things that it's changing and it's going to continue to change. People who have something negative to say about influencers or influencer marketing, or like what we're doing at fashion shows, they just need to work on themselves. Like that's
Oh
that's
no,
it.
for sure.
Tell them.
Like if you feel negative about it, if you feel like you're being a hater, like I feel like it's just kind of a general disdain of people who feel maybe a little left out of the industry, or they feel like unseen, or maybe they want to do it, or they tried and it's not working out for them. I don't know what people are going through, on
Well
their
then,
side.
Yeah.
well then
For
maybe does it come back to representation, because because you're absolutely right, that is like it is an industry shift, and you're probably on that side of the conversation where you're seeing how businesses are thinking, you're seeing how businesses are talking about, like, well, we can't beat them, we might as well join them. And that does is that something you see in your own social feed, or in or with influencing in color, like people who are having the conversation of like feeling left behind by these brands and these companies who are technically supposed to be representing them in fashion trends and looks?
I mean, some people want things to exist as they exist, and they are like a little bit afraid of change and
Sure.
evolution, and that has more to do with them and their mindset. But things are going to change. The world is going to change. Everything. The only constant is change. And if you want to sit around and be a dinosaur and not figure things out and not go with the flow, you are the one that's going to be left behind. You are the one that's going to be sitting there unhappy, not understanding the shift, not understanding the change and how it can actually benefit you. I mean, make things work for you instead of saying like it used to be like this and now it's not and I hate everything about it. Figure out how you can be happier in the current state of how things are. And if you don't like it, try to change it, but think about think about why and the reason why. Is it just a general disdain, or are you just hating on people? Like,
People
Yeah.
are starting to feel like uncomfortable. Like we're living in a time in 2022 where
mhm,
information and everything is passed within a millisecond. You can get news on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, whether it's true or not, and you can learn about
yeah.
something in an immediate fashion. And these people are seeing an evolution happen at such an expedited rate. And it's like I can see how it can be semi scary. It could be scary, but also
Hmm.
too thinking about just in general of the zeitgeist of what's happening right now. We're seeing magical things happen in an expedited manner. We're seeing a greater acceptance and appreciation of different communities, different arts, different things in an expedited manner. And this world of change, or I'm preaching right now. I'm sorry, but this realm of change, this
Preach.
realm of change needs to be accepted because we're not going to be able to be a better group of people until we learn, until we see what's happening and we can see what everybody's lifestyles and experiences are really like. And that's with
Yeah.
diverse storytelling, that's with representation in all these different.
I fully agree. It's like you have to be able to understand what other people are going through and what their experiences are. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you don't, you're one of the people that are sitting there and you're like, well, I just can't understand why they're having such a hard time.
Yeah.
Every everything's fine over here. I just can't understand. Well, because their circumstance is not your circumstance. Their upbringing is not yours. Their history is not your history. So totally different set of circumstances. Um, I think also if there's a group of people who feel like influencers are like fake, they're not real, they don't do real things, they don't say real things, they just try to be perfect. And while there are probably ton of influencers out there who operate like that, not everyone does. I like to pride myself in just literally being me. And if I can show up here today, then I do. And if I can't, I can't. If I'm not in a good mental space, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm taking a break. I'm having a mental breakdown. My kid is sick, or physically, I'm not feeling good. It's just sometimes people do think of influencers like that more, broadly. But if that's what you see on your feed, then you need to follow somebody else, or you need to unfollow things that rub you the wrong way, things that you see that make you feel less than. If you don't feel good, if you don't feel beautiful, if you don't feel whatever, if there's negative emotions connect to the imagery that you're consuming, you have control of that.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
get rid of that so that you can feel how you need to feel.
I super respect your ability to find that time to shut off or to take the time to reset, refocus, recalibrate so that you can come back even stronger. But
Hard.
it,
It's
it's
hard.
it's super hard. Like I say that as someone who's still trying to find their true self and go through my own mental health journey. But I can imagine that with being an influencer and you sort of have to have your life shared with the world, how do you balance that self-care time to screen time?
Balance is a word that I try to stay away from because I feel like a lot of times in life that things aren't balanced and it's just what you can
Interesting.
get, like what you can give more attention to at the time and what's more important at the time. And I feel like it's not ever really going to be balanced, but you can make the best decision for yourself in that moment based on what's in front of you. So, like, for example, right now, what I'm doing right now, I feel just fine. We're working together. I have time to do this. I'm not distracted. But if my kids were here running around, it might be like, hey, we might need to do this at a different time because I need my focus to be, somewhere else. And that
Sure.
it almost happened because school's out today.
Thanks for the notice,
I,
school. Yeah.
So you're replacing focus with balance. Or sorry, excuse me, other way around. Balance with focus.
yeah, in a way, and it's like it's moment to moment, it's minute to minute, it's hour to hour. It's like, what can you do in the moment, in the minute, in the hour, in the day to make you feel less stressed, less anxious, but still take care of what needs to be taken care of.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if I'm trying to story or do something and my kids are running around, then I shouldn't be doing it right then because it's going to stress me out that they're making noise in the background or they just knocked over my tripod and whatever. It's like, don't, this is not the time.
Yeah.
You can find a better time to do it or get some support like, hey, call my sister, the kids are here but I need to work. Can you help me out? Can you just come entertain them, like something? But it's there's no balance, I don't think. I think it's just making a good decision for yourself.
I want to give a
Ma-
quick shout out to Ashley as well. What's up, Ashley? What up,
Yeah.
girl?
What's up?
Uh, but no, I think that ability to sort of focus on what's at hand, what's at this moment, what that feeling is, that's insightful. Especially as someone that I can assume in your life, you have 50 bajillion things planned out. And, anything can change at a moment's notice, especially when it comes to a production schedule in a way. And what are some of the things that you have learned as time has gone on to highlight that focus in that moment?
The biggest one for me right now is shortening my to-do list.
Yeah.
Like you have all these things that you have some things that are mandatory, like you need to do them, they have to get done, there's a deadline. And then you have things that could be like on more of like, if I get to it, then cool. And if I don't, then also cool, like things you want to do. And what I was doing was putting all of that in the same category of to do. And it would leave you feeling like, number one, mentally, by looking at that, you have too much to do and not enough time, like generally. And then you do half the things, you still got this other half, and it makes you feel unproductive when in fact you have been. Um, and then just like what parts of these things on these lists are things that I'm doing just to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I wanna swing by Home Goods and get a new tablecloth. Like, do I really need a new tablecloth? I don't talk about home stuff a whole lot. Like, is this gonna go on my blog? Like, why am I going to get a new tablecloth? You know. So
Because the
just really
holidays are right around the corner. And you have to get your snowflake covered tablecloth because holiday season's right around the corner. And if you want your table to look as fancy as possible, go to Target. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, get them faux leaves and like sprinkle it on the table. My fall colored leaves. Like, why am I doing that? I, so just kind of tackling those ideas kind of in that order helped me to focus really on a daily basis. There's probably one or two things that are absolutely necessary. And when I focus on those things and get those things done, it takes me less time, to do them because I'm mentally saying there's not really much to do, but these are important.
Yeah.
And I'm not mentally psyching myself out thinking that it's going to take me longer to do when I do it, it's like, oh, it's already done. And I'm not processing and thinking about, God, it's going to take me forever and I really have to get this done. It just puts you in a more calm space where you can focus on the one or two things that have to happen that day. And when you do that, it's like, oh, that's done. And you feel a little bit more free and, well, maybe I can do one of the other things. But it's like, I don't need to have every single thing that I ever thought about that I wanted to do on my list of things to do
Yeah.
Like it's
on
okay to take a moment for yourself.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and just letting go of that feeling of having to be productive during every single work hour of the day. Like just because it's between the hours of 8 and 5 doesn't mean that you have to be like running around, like
Yeah.
just doing the most. I mean, if your job is just like that, then it is. But if you have any type of say so in it, then maybe we can just like pull back a little bit and just breathe. Like we're not on earth to just work 24/7. Like we need to enjoy our
Mm.
lives. We need to enjoy the people around us. We need to sit outside and just stare at the sky sometimes or just watch the cars go by. Like you just have to do mindless things sometimes. I feel like your mind like needs that.
You're
Yeah.
you're talking to someone that just went to a cabin for a week and just stared at trees because
Yeah.
like for me, my mind runs at 50 million miles per hour and I always feel like I have to be doing something. Like my leg has been shaking underneath this desk the entire time. But
It's
Welcome to the
okay.
party.
um but
I'm like, I'm recovering from that. Like, I feel like I felt the same way. Like, I just have to be doing something all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm really working hard on like not filling up every single moment of my day with things.
that leads me to one of our
Hard.
biggest questions of
Mm-hmm.
when you're always on the go, you're always doing a thing, you're always thinking about that next content piece and everything. The
Mhm.
biggest thing, what makes Brandy feel good?
Ooh, moment like those. What do you call them? The in between moments. Like New York is
Mm.
busy and week and but just like sitting down to enjoy a meal, maybe not talking, you
Mm-hmm.
know. The ride in the Uber back to the hotel, just sitting there looking out of the window. It's like I'm trying to find those in between moments that I could, maybe I have more opportunity for that at home, but when I'm traveling, I'm usually traveling for work. And so, you're moving around a lot and there are things to do in the in between, like the show's over and we're just walking, down the street and I try to just get off my phone. I try to just people watch and just be present in the walking down the street or present in I'm taking a ride and I can just look out the window because I'm not driving.
Mm.
Just that kind of stuff really just makes me feel less stressed when I'm on the road and when I'm traveling and it feels more balanced,
Yeah. When did you find that was a thing? Like when did you find that there should be an appreciation for the little things?
When I started meditating, I found this guy through what's the app? There's a meditation app. I
Calm,
can't think.
headspace,
No,
talk space. I don't know.
There's so
what's the one
many
that I
apps for these like little niche things. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
what?
well, there's an app that I was using for meditation, and I started this series on gratitude. And it was a 30
Mm.
day series. And one of them was about kind of like this a similar subject matter. And, it kinda hit me that I realized that that was not something I was ever doing. Like, if I was taking a ride in an Uber, then I'm like, I'm sitting down and I don't have to drive, so I can just work on my phone the whole time. I can check my emails, I can draft my next Instagram post, I can edit a photo or, versus just taking the ride. And so, it's one of those things, like, you don't know what you don't know. It was put on my radar through a guided meditation that I was listening to, and that's when I started to realize like you can feel a lot better. You can feel a lot less stressed if you just take a moment, just stare at the fence through the window. But just just sit down for a minute, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I started like a lot of people, I started meditating and doing all of that like in 2020 when
Yep.
probably not even in 2020, probably at top of 2021 when I realized like mentally I am not okay and I need to do something.
Mm.
And then it became something that I did more often and it really opens your eyes to how you could do things differently.
Yeah, so there's a power of just sitting and listening, not only to everything that's up and around the world around you and your surroundings, but there's also this power of listening to yourself and like that moment and kind of realizing and taking in a little bit of what you are feeling, what the
Yeah.
world around you is kind of giving you as well. I learned this recently of when I was out in the woods. I want to keep saying that because I want to go out in the woods more often. In the woods, as I
Go
was at
into
like
the
some bougie
woods
spot.
and be
No,
one
but
with nature.
says the man with the lumberjack beard. But
Mm.
there's something to be said of going out and just kind of appreciating the world around you and
Mhm.
appreciating the beauty of whether it is that fence in the backyard or if it's the busy streets of New York and just seeing things that you wouldn't necessarily normally see if you're sitting there and looking at your phone, just
Mhm.
staring
Mhm.
down at the same kind of content and the same kind of bubble that you are in constantly and being able to
Mhm.
look out into the world and see the world for what it really is and appreciate that beauty in some
Mhm.
magical, beautiful way. There's so much to be said about the introspection of an influencer, of your whole world is kind of put out into the world. Your whole
Mhm.
experience, your life, and the things that you do are out there. And there's probably a lot of thought in regards to the extraness that kind of comes from that, but taking a moment to see inside has to be gratifying.
It is, and it's, as I've kind of progressed in my career, I'm like, I call my girlfriend who's also an influencer and say like, "Hey, let's go to lunch today," and not story it, like that kind of thing. Just be super intentional about sitting in the moment that you're in and enjoying the person in front of you and being intentional on not doing it to include it into your online
Yeah.
world. There's
It sounds so
also like some
scandalous.
Oh
I
my
know,
God, I
right?
can't share this brunch.
Right, I
What
can't
is
share this
happening?
brunch. How do
Oh
I
my
can't take a
God.
photo of my food.
This
Yeah,
omelet
it's
looks
like
so good though.
it's like I'm hiding something
Yeah.
almost when I'm really taking a private moment.
No, but that's
But it
still important.
Do you ever
yeah,
feel guilty that like you go out and have brunch and then you're like, God damn, this is really good though, and I do want to share it, but you're like having to force
not
yourself?
necessarily guilt. I think sometimes I have the feeling of that I need to be working,
Yeah.
taking the photo and making the stories is the work that I do. So I feel like I should be working, but I'm not. So it's more of that feeling like and less guilt. I even have to just I take pictures every single day, like not of myself, but of like
The world.
just things, like especially being in New York, it's like the buildings, the skyline, whatever. And so sometimes I just say, I'm not taking any photos today. I want one day where I don't open up this camera to take a photo.
It sounds like you're very good at boundaries.
I've become really good at boundaries. I haven't always been. There was definitely a time in my life where it was more like it's all one big thing. And I don't necessarily feel like it's like that anymore because it's not one big thing.
So is there because when you are in this place where you make the affirmation, "Oh, I'm not going to be an influencer today. I'm not going to be a business person. I'm just going to be me. I'm not going to have my phone on. I'm just going to take time for myself." Has there been an instance that you can recall where you were kind of in the moment and it was a shareable moment and you said to yourself, "Oh, I should have just taken, maybe put ego aside and flip the switch on for a second and make it a shareable moment," or has that not been something that's ever come across your mind?
Not as much. There are moments that, like, our morning routine, like I'm getting up with the kids and stuff like that. And there are some
Mm-hmm.
times when my son is just being so sweet and so kind to his sister. And I'm just staring at them like, oh my gosh, my heart. Or like my daughter like came home from school yesterday and started and was counting to like 10 and she's 2. And I was like,
Whoa.
when did
Yes.
how to so that is like, oh my gosh, I would love to make a video of her counting. I just can't believe she could do it. Like, oh my gosh.
Right.
But there are moments that I'm like, maybe eventually I want to try to capture that, but not really. Like I don't if I'm taking a moment or taking a day, I don't feel any I don't feel anything about like not getting whatever is happening that day.
But those
It's just
kinds of
part.
important moments, like those are for you. Like those examples
Hmm.
are like they're great examples of like, oh, this would be a great teachable moment, but like this is something I want to keep for myself. That's actually a really great way to kind of put it. Like, oh, it does, like you enjoyed that so much more because your instinct wasn't like, let me pull out my camera, let me try to capture this, let me try to curate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brandy. As we're winding down this conversation, I got one last thing for you. What is your future good? What's going on in the world of Brandy that we can share out with the world, that everybody can go to and see and experience the full BU experience?
All right. Well, I've got some new BU merchandise
Oh,
that
yeah.
I have some on the site, but I'm launching a few more pieces for fall. And so if you go to bustore.com, you can see all of the offerings that I have there and, just a little snip of what's behind that brand. Is like I wanted being a person of fashion, I'm also a person of comfort, or I had become one during COVID. Like
Mm.
I cannot wait to put on some goddamn
Hell
sweatpants.
yeah.
I just want it to be cool enough for me to not die wearing sweats, and I'm going to have them on. I love sweatpants and I love comfort clothes, just like the softest t-shirt or like super oversized crew neck or something. And so my line is a lot of comfort stuff. It's like t-shirts and crew necks, and I have a few new pieces coming out, but it really is just a reminder of when you put on that piece, you put on that garment to be you. It literally says be you on the offerings. And so my hope is that people are more drawn to, merch with a message and not just, something that says, oh, whatever, something that's really might impact them positively when they put it on. So we've got some new stuff coming, and authenticallybe.com is still there. Go check that out. And hopefully, I'll just get some holiday campaigns. Let's talk about Christmas.
Let's do it. Hey, you're talking to a holiday influencer here who once had a holiday comedy band. So like, I got you if you ever need some like cross collab.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good stuff.
It
It's
is.
really funny.
I got the suit. I don't know if it fits anymore. Your boy's trying to get jacked.
But it's a holiday suit. It's like Santa Claus with like fitting down the chimney. You're gonna fit into that suit.
We'll see.
Santa Claus.
Those
Definitely.
pants, no. That jacket, maybe. Dude, those pants were like, I bought that suit. Those pants were like, I felt like a sausage. I'm a tall, skinny guy. And I'm like, God damn, these are tight.
Where did you even get that suit?
I will mention it if they ever decide to sponsor us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not the suits.
Okay.
No.
Well, you heard it, Christmas Suit Place. We will give you a shout out if you give us money.
Yeah. Please. Or a free suit. I'll take it. I want Byron to have like a Hanukkah suit. I think we can make
love
this.
a Hanukkah suit. I would absolutely love a Hanukkah
We'll
suit.
do that for
I
our
need,
holiday
that
special.
That blue and silver yeah.
I can see it. Let's rock it. Let's diversify the living hell out of this holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Brandy, it's so good to have you. Thank you so much for everything. We adore
Thank
you.
you,
Please go
Brandy.
check out all of her shops, beyoustore.com. That's BEEYOUSTORE.com. And make sure that you buy the latest of the BU Basics collection. And Brandy, we love you. Thank you so much.
Love you back.
Sweet Whistling Jesus.
I love sweet whistling Jesus.
He's my favorite kind of Jesus.
Yeah.
He ranks above little baby Jesus.
Yeah.
But everybody, we are back, and that was such a great interview with the wonderful, amazing Brandy Gueary. And
Yes.
I love her. I love her.
I love her
I love her
too.
family. I love them all. They are so freaking fantastic and beautiful. Much love. Byron, what did you take away from this episode?
So the way that I'm gonna frame it is like focus over balance. So like I think the thing that I really took away from Brandy was when we were kind of having this talk with her, and I think we had a bit of an assumption where it's like, where do you juggle it? Where like what is it? And her response of like, I don't, and I'm not gonna act like I do. And I'm just going to focus on what's in front of me. And if it's a matter of like that, this is kind of just what may, then it is. And I think that's such a wonderful, I think that also speaks to like, she must be an absolutely amazing parent, because she had I think only having children is really going to teach you that. It's like, oh, you get the chaos, and it's either you can figure out where to spend time with your principles and how you emotionally feel about like all this chaos going on, or you can just like snap out of it, just focus on where you are, be present, and like do what you gotta do. And it seems like that translates when she's talking about like New York Fashion Week, and that sense of like, oh wow, I'm here, and I'm seeing this representation, I'm seeing myself in these designers, in these clothes. Like it really puts so much into perspective for me about like how to really be able to like stop trying to force yourself to do so much, and just try to just tackle what you can and accept how human you are.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. I What I learned from this episode, I mean, I learned a lot from her, and I've always kind of looked up to her and her family ever since we have met. But I learned that, yeah, take pride in the small moments of when you're up and out and running around and doing a bit of everything and everything's on fire or whatever. Take those 5 seconds, look out the window and look at the world.
Yeah.
Just have that moment. My mind is always racing. I have 50 million things I have to do with work. I have so many things I got to do with home, family, whatever it may be. I'm always running. But having that ability to just kind of check out for a moment and soak up the outside. Enjoy the moment of sitting on the couch and just watching something brainless or something. Like, it's good moments that I'm learning to love and appreciate and everything. But I think also one of the other things that I didn't necessarily learn, but I also want to continue to learn more is just the representation that's needed.
Yes.
Across a little bit of everything. Hearing the stories in regards to New York Fashion Week and how so many shows had to have basically a check mark in regards to, oh, we have this many Black people, this many Latino people, this many Asian people. That sucks.
Yes.
That so sucks. And we as a society, and also within major forms of pop culture and everything else, like, that representation goes so freaking far in regards to just making someone feel welcome and appreciated. And I want to see whatever I can do to help push that. And I'm hoping that us being able to kind of tell some stories here with diverse guests and everything there can help shine some light in regards to how badly that's needed.
I think that's been the goal for us, right? That's been that, like, being able to see diversity, not only for the sake of, like, having the representation of those voices. I think for, like, yes, it is so important. It's also about, like, just being able to learn. And how are you ever going to be able to learn about the wider world around you when you only have such a narrow point of view to grab things from? And I think we can, when you get to that point where it's like you've plateaued and there's nothing left, it's like, well, that's not fun for you. That's not fun for anyone. You need somebody else to come and mix it up a little bit for yourself. And that might be uncomfortable, but when you can get past that discomfort, that's where you get those little golden nuggets that you didn't know that you could find.
Yeah, there's so much more to know and learn when you are able to push past your biases and able to accept that, no, not everybody's fucking white. Not like,
wait,
just
sorry,
because,
hold on.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Like, I'm freaking out here.
I know. It's the Portland. It's getting on you.
Yeah, no.
No, but it just goes to show, like, everybody just take a step out of your box. Go and enjoy something new. Enjoy something different. Something from a creator, a person of color, whatever it may be. Like, you will be so amazed with what you will learn and the stuff that you will love. And, we'll continue to do what we can to help champion some of those voices. They don't need our help, but whatever we can do to help push and amplify that message, we will. So, Brandy, I want to thank you again for coming on here. If you guys want to learn more we love you so much. If you want to learn more about what Brandy's doing and what Influencing in Color and everything's doing as well, you can find her on basically all the social medias. On Instagram, she's at authentically.b. Her merch line is at bees.united, and Influencing Color is as easy as it gets, at Influencing in Color. She's also on TikTok. Make sure you follow her there to get all sorts of style tips and beauty and all that kind of happy fun stuff. So
absolutely.
Thank you, Brandy.
Brandy,
please go follow
thank
her.
You so much.
Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe and follow and rate us a little bit of everywhere. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. Find us, share the good word of the Feel Good Podcast, please. We'd greatly appreciate it.
If there are guests or suggestions that you have, we want to bring on, we want to share people's stories, and we absolutely want to represent and celebrate more diversity here. If there is someone that you believe that we should be talking to, please reach out to us, fillgoodpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from the person you think we should be talking to. And we want to talk to all the people. I just want to talk to people, Mike.
It's crazy what having conversations with people can do, and just learning about these people. And I've learned way too much over just our past 1.5 seasons that we've done.
Yeah.
And y'all are going to be in for a treat for the last couple of interviews that we have going for the tail end of this season.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. Like, these are some of my most favorite interviews that we've done.
They're the highlight of my fortnight.
Oh my god. On that note, everybody, we'll catch you on the flippity flops, the flip flop flop flop, flippity flop 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 flops. Nerd.
Feel Good Podcast, hosted by Mike Osgood and Byron Filler. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at FillGoodPod, FillGoodPod.
You can also find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the flip-flop.